The pain you feel is not something without explanation. It is not a mere misfortune that happens by chance. The deep pain you carry inside has a greater purpose, something that many cannot see immediately. But if you stop to reflect, if you listen carefully, you will realize that it is not just suffering. It is a sign, an invitation to something much greater. Most people try to escape pain. Society tells us that pain is something to be avoided, something that needs to be overcome quickly. But you who feel this pain know that it is different. You know it shapes you, that it takes you to a deeper place within yourself. Pain is the key that opens doors to a higher understanding. For those who are chosen, it becomes a journey of self-awareness, of transcendence. On this path, you will understand that pain is not the end, but the beginning. It is the awakening to your purpose, to your higher mission. And with that, you begin to realize that life has so much more meaning when you start looking at pain with new eyes. However, instead of moving away from it, you learn to use it as a powerful tool to grow, evolve, and finally connect with what you truly came here to do. Before we continue, I ask that you follow the channel and activate the notifications. Shall we go together? The pain you feel is not just a passing discomfort. It is something deeper, beyond the limitations of the body and mind. It is a type of pain that many times others cannot even understand. While the world continues with its daily occupations, you feel as though something is missing, as if something is pulling you out of this reality. This feeling is not just an inconvenience, it is a pain that marks the soul, one that seems to come from places no one can see. Sometimes it manifests in the heart, other times in the mind. But what truly makes it special is that it is not common. It is different from everything you have ever felt. You feel an internal pressure, a sense of being distant from everything and everyone. It's as if your soul is crying out for something greater, for a higher purpose. You feel this so intensely that at many moments you question whether you are truly living the right life. Confusion takes over, and the answers always seem distant. Even when you try to seek comfort in the people around you, you realize that something inside you is still empty, still searching for a way. However, what many don't realize is that this pain is actually a sign. It doesn't arise without reason. It's not there to punish you. The pain you feel is a key that opens doors to a deeper understanding. It is not suffering without purpose. On the contrary, this pain is your soul asking to awaken, to remember its true purpose. Only the chosen can feel this pain because it is unique, destined for those who have a greater mission in this world. Awakening doesn't happen without resistance. When the pain starts to arise, the mind often tries to push it away, deny it, pretend it isn't happening. But the more you try to ignore it, the more it intensifies. It makes itself known, touching your deepest wounds until you can no longer ignore it. This pain is not easy, it's not simple, but it has a clear purpose, to lead you to something greater. Many may not understand your pain. They may not see the depth of what you are experiencing, but that doesn't mean it has no immense value. It is the starting point for something big. As you dive into the pain, you begin to notice something new, something that was hidden before. This pain is the opening to the awakening, and when you accept it, you'll see that everything starts to fall into place. It's not a fast process, nor an easy one, but it is the journey of the chosen. It's important to understand that there is no path without challenges. Pain is part of the journey. And contrary to what many believe, it is not something to be avoided. It is, in fact, the preparation. Only those who feel this deep pain can perceive the true beauty that it brings with it. No matter how difficult it is shaping you, preparing you for the great purpose that is to come. If you feel this pain, rest assured that you are being led to something grand. Have you ever felt like you were always one step behind, as if what you desire most was never within your reach? As if, no matter how hard you tried, life just couldn't give you what you needed. This feeling of rejection, of being on the outside, can be painful. Often it manifests as loneliness, even when surrounded by people. But this pain is not a mere punishment. It is a preparation. You notice that no matter how hard you try to fit in, something always seems out of place. Relationships are superficial. Moments of happiness seem fleeting. And even when you're surrounded by people, you feel an emptiness that cannot be filled. The thing is, you're seeing the world in a way that few others do. And this, in a way, sets you apart. But it is exactly this that makes you chosen. The material world, with its rules and expectations, does not fit into your vision. You are guided by something greater. Every time you try to adapt, you realize that you're distancing yourself from who you truly are. External pressures, whether in work, family, or society, begin to suffocate you. The people around you may even try to convince you that everything is fine, that you should just follow the same path as everyone else. But deep down, you know you can't. Not because you don't want to, but because something inside of you tells you that this is not your place. This is the rejection of the material world and the acceptance of something deeper, more authentic. Often, this rejection becomes a burden. You feel the weight of not being understood, of walking a path alone. But what you don't realize is that loneliness actually strengthens you. It connects you with your true essence, with that which lies beyond appearances. The world is not your enemy, but rather a testing ground. It rejects you because you carry a light that cannot be contained by conventional molds. And because of this, you don't fit in. But that is the beauty of being chosen. You were chosen because you possess something unique, something that is beyond the comprehension of most. Every time you feel rejected, your soul is being called to grow. The pain, the sense of being out of place, is a sign that you are in tune with your spiritual purpose. You are not chosen to follow the same path as others, but to create your own. And for that, the world needs to reject you, because only then will you find your true path. The process is challenging, but it is necessary. The chosen one does not follow the path of others, does not fit into the expectations of society. He is called to create something new, to be a reference of authenticity in a world that often loses itself in its own masks. This rejection is not the end, but rather a new beginning. The world rejects you, but your soul, with its divine mission, accepts you, and that in itself is reason to celebrate. Many times you find yourself in silence, observing the world around you and wondering why, despite everything, you can't truly connect with others. Loneliness, for many, is a heavy burden. For you, however, it carries something deeper, something few can perceive. It is in it that you find answers that the world cannot offer. When loneliness settles in, you feel an emptiness, as if you were out of place, as if you were watching life from a distance. While others continue with their routines, you feel that something greater is waiting to be discovered. But instead of feeling lost, you begin to realize that this inner silence is, in fact, an invitation. An invitation to something beyond what the eyes can see. The isolation you feel is not a punishment. It is a portal to your spiritual growth. It is normal during this process to feel misunderstood. The people around you may try to give advice, offer words of comfort. But there is something inside you that feels these gestures don't touch the depth of your being. The feeling of disconnection can be distressing. especially when you realize that you cannot find answers in people or in the material world. But it is in this disconnection that you begin to hear your own soul, which starts to feel the inner voice calling you to your purpose. Loneliness, then, stops being a burden and becomes a tool for self-knowledge. It is in the silence that you begin to notice what really matters. It is no longer about pleasing others or fitting into the expectations of the world. You begin to realize that the true purpose is not in being accepted, but in being true to yourself. Loneliness forces you to look inward, to face your own shadows and lights, to explore the deepest corners of your soul. During this process, you begin to reconnect with something greater. It may be nature, spirituality, or even a cosmic force that transcends human understanding. Loneliness, then, is no longer an absence, but a presence. The presence of something that guides you, that leads you to a unique path. This solitary journey leads you to a deeper understanding of your true essence, and with each passing day, you feel more aligned with who you truly are. Along this journey, you will realize that loneliness is, in fact, a powerful force. It prepares you to be someone who can guide others on their own paths. You learn to trust your intuition, develop your inner wisdom, and not depend on external validations. Loneliness then transforms into a space of healing and growth, where you find strength and clarity to move forward. In many spiritual traditions, isolation is seen as a sacred period. It is in silence that masters find the truth. It is in isolation that souls connect with the divine. For the chosen ones, this process is fundamental. They are not called to follow the flow, but to create their own path, often away from the crowds. It is in this separation that they can hear the voice of the Spirit, feel the calling to their true mission. Therefore, loneliness is not something to be feared. It is a gift given to you to strengthen you and align you with your true nature. The emptiness you feel is not a void of despair, but a void that prepares you to be filled with wisdom and enlightenment. Loneliness connects you with your soul, with the divine, and prepares you to fulfill the unique mission you came to accomplish. So do not worry about the absence of company, for the greatest companion you have is your own essence. It will guide you through paths that few dare to tread. Pain is often seen as something to be avoided or overcome as quickly as possible. But for you, it takes on a different role. It is not just a passing suffering. It is a teacher, guiding you with lessons that no book, no advice could give you. The pain you feel is the fuel for your spiritual transformation. It breaks down the barriers of the mind and pushes you into a place where true wisdom is revealed. As you go through difficult times, it's as if you are being shaped by invisible hands. Each challenge, each loss, each failure seems to increase the weight on your heart. But paradoxically, it also strengthens you. Over time, you begin to realize that, instead of destroying you, this pain has a purpose. It teaches you to see the world with different eyes, to understand people in a deeper way. It teaches you to be more compassionate, wiser, and more attuned to the needs of others. You begin to realize that, despite the suffering, you are not alone. Pain connects you with something greater. It reminds you of your divine essence and the strength you carry within. Suffering makes you remember that you are human, but it also shows you that there is something beyond humanity, something eternal, transcending physical and temporal limits. Over time, pain stops being seen as a punishment and is understood as an opportunity for growth. You become more sensitive to the suffering of others, more capable of helping those who are in situations similar to the ones you have faced. Your wisdom does not come from theories or self-help books. It comes from experience, from living through pain and challenges, and from the way you choose to overcome them. It is interesting how pain, contrary to what many imagine, does not make you weaker. It makes you stronger, more resilient. Each time you get back up after a fall, you become a stronger version of yourself. And it is in this process that you discover gifts and abilities you may not have known you had. Empathy, patience, wisdom. These qualities are born from pain. They are cultivated in life's wounds, where the soul learns to be more understanding, more humble, and more willing to help. You begin to realize that through your pain, you become capable of lighting the way for others. Suffering is no longer a burden, but a tool for healing. Each painful experience teaches you something new about who you are and what you came here to do. Every challenge faced turns into a lesson you can share with those who are still at the beginning of their own journeys. Deep down, you realize that pain is a gift. It prepares you for the mission you were called to fulfill. You are not just someone who suffers. You are someone who learns from suffering, and by learning, you become capable of helping others do the same. This wisdom you gain makes you a beacon for those who are still in the dark. You are able to guide, to inspire, because you've seen what others have yet to see. Have you noticed that the more you grow, the more you find people around you trying to bring you down? It may seem unfair, but the truth is that as your light grows, it starts to bother others. Those who are not willing to face their own shadows see you as a threat. What you carry, often without even realizing it, is something they do not have: authenticity, courage, and a clear purpose. And that's why you become a target. When you choose to shine, without fear of showing yourself to the world, some people simply cannot handle it. They try to extinguish your flame in subtle or even explicit ways. The negative comment here, the sideways glance there, or even a direct attempt to harm you. This isn't about you. This is about them, about how your light reflects their own insecurities and fears. However, these attacks are not accidental. They come from the fear of being exposed. They come from envy, an envy that is not just about what you have, but about who you are. The person who stays true to themselves in a world where everyone tries to fit in is a direct threat. Your courage to be who you are, your authenticity, bothers those who lack the courage to show themselves. And at the same time, it strengthens you. They don't know this, but every attempt to undermine your confidence only makes you shine brighter. But you need to understand something very important. This envy is not confirmation that something is wrong with you. In fact, it is confirmation that you are on the right path, because when you become who you truly are, you begin to attract people who think and vibrate at the same frequency. The rest, they will begin to distance themselves because your light exposes them. They don't know how to deal with it, but that's just a phase. In the end, envy will not be able to extinguish what you have. It will only make you stronger, more determined, and more aware of your own power. So, do not let this shake you. The people who try to bring you down are only reflecting their own inability to shine. And, contrary to what they think, your light doesn't weaken the world, it illuminates it. Do not allow these negative forces to affect you. The light you carry within is greater than any shadow that may appear in your path. There are moments when everything seems to collapse. What you built with so much effort, the stability that seemed so solid, everything seems to crumble around you. This can be scary, painful, and even desperate. But if you stop and look closely, you'll realize that the fall is not an end. It's a push. Something is about to be born. Something bigger. Something truer. The falls are difficult, no doubt. They force you to question everything you believe to be right and leave you with a feeling of helplessness. But it is precisely in this moment of vulnerability that the new can arise. The old needs to be knocked down so the new has space to grow. And sometimes, The universe has ways of pushing you onto a new path that you might never have chosen on your own. When everything falls apart, what you feel is only the preparation for the next stage. It is not the end of your journey. In fact, it is the beginning of something even more magnificent. Each piece of your life that breaks is an opportunity to start again with more wisdom, more courage, and more clarity. You don't need to fear the fall. It is not a punishment. It is a blessing in disguise. It prepares you to become someone stronger, more aware, more in tune with your purpose. This phase of destruction, of cleaning, is necessary for you to rise renewed. After the storm comes the calm. After the collapse comes the rebuilding. And the most important thing, you build in a more solid way, more aware of what needs to be done. You will no longer repeat the same mistakes. You will lay a new foundation, stronger, wiser, more aligned with your true self. So when you feel like everything is crumbling, remember, the fall is just a push. It is not a defeat. It is the necessary space for you to grow, strengthen, and evolve to the next level of your journey. Be open to it. Accept it. Because in the end, you will see that it wasn't a fall, but a preparation to rise. Now that you've crossed through the pain, faced the falls and rejection, it's time to realize something grand. You were shaped to be a warrior of light. The pain was not in vain, nor were the adversities you faced. Each battle you fought, every difficult moment you overcame, prepared you for a greater purpose. You weren't just called to go through difficulties. You were called to be a light to the world. You, who have already faced so much pain, are now able to understand the suffering of others. You, who were rejected and tested, are now the person who can guide, heal, and inspire. Your journey was difficult, but it has a purpose. You were chosen to bring clarity and hope to those still lost in the shadows. This is your true purpose, to be a source of light. And that light doesn't come only from words or actions. It comes from your own journey, from the scars you carry, from the pain you overcame. Each little piece of your experience makes you more capable of serving. The world needs people like you, who have been through pain and who now know how to help others find their own way. You were forged in the fire of adversity to shine with greater intensity. Your light is stronger than ever. And the best part is that, by radiating this light, you not only transform the lives of others, but also your own. The revealed purpose is not just about serving others. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, being an example of strength, love, and courage. So move forward, warrior of light. Your mission is just beginning. We have reached the end of this journey of reflection on pain and its true meaning. Perhaps you have recognized within yourself the scars that, until now, seemed like mere wounds. Now, looking at them from a new perspective, you begin to understand that these marks are not signs of weakness, but of strength. They are proof that you were shaped for something greater. The pain you felt, that you overcame, has brought you here. It was not an obstacle, but a divine tool that guided you to your purpose. The pain of being rejected, of being misunderstood, of facing moments of loneliness and struggle, is the pain of someone being prepared to be a warrior of light. You are not like others. You are chosen. Your journey, with all the difficulties you have faced, now prepares you to help others overcome their own battles, to find their own purpose. What once seemed like a burden is now your strength. Now, looking at your pain, you see that it is not something to be feared. It is the way. It is the key that opens the doors to the great mission you came to fulfill. And as you move forward, remember that you are exactly where you should be. You are chosen, and your journey is just beginning. Now, comment below. Have you ever felt this deep pain that wounds the soul?